In Unit 8, you'll begin by learning G Blues Solo Number 1 with bebop voicings. And then you'll play that same right-hand solo with thirds and sevenths in your left-hand accompaniment. We'll follow up with a new G Blues solo. That'll be G Blues Solo Number 2. And this time, you'll only be given the chord symbols, so you'll have to utilize those thirds and sevenths that you used in the previous accompaniment. Then we follow up with more harmonization. And to end the unit, we have two samba accompaniments. One which utilizes partito alto number 1, and then the same progression, but with the rhythm changed to partito alto number 2. Well, let's get into Unit 8. We're going to start with this blues solo. This one's a little like the first solo we had in D. We've got these bebop voicings, these modern jazz voicings. They're kind of sparse, characterized by root and 7. Make sure you can find them. Move around quickly. Don't just play the left-hand part in tempo and expect it to be at the ready. You have to go out of tempo and just move from one chord to the next. Get that feeling in your hand. See if you can really bounce around. Also take a moment to make sure you understand what's going on in the harmony and why these notes. Root 7, root 7, root 7. Measure 4, root 7, but just the third for the G7. Well, that's a bit of voice leading. With very few notes, we're suggesting the sound of. So it's essential notes. This is a great 2-5 shortcut. I say 2-5, D minor 7, G7 leading to C7. We also have a 2-5 in measure 8. And then measures 9 to 10 and measure 12. It's a very common shortcut that you will hear in the playing of Bud Powell, Horace Silver, and of course Thelonious Monk. Let's look at the right hand. The first 2.5 measures. That's your position. I think your fourth finger on the B flat is the right play, and then beat 3 and measure 3. Just shift up there. And you make sure you're like visibly swinging. Now, I think with the shuffle, I'm using my forearm like I did in the shuffle a lot of times to play every eighth note. You can also pulse like to the quarter note. da-da. Again, if we're pulsing on the swing eighth note, I think that's good to explore, you know, visible evidence of your swing feel. I think I'd pulse with on this solo a little more on the quarter note. Watch for it in the demonstration performances because I'm not always conscious of it. I'm going to stop myself. I kind of got too close to the knuckle there. Just a little reminder for me and for you. With my thumb, right? Okay. And in measure 9, I think we need to shift to this position. And that's, I think you could play a slide 3-3 in measure 10, but be ready to move to this position. Either that, or it might be better to do this. I like that. So I'm kind of chasing A to B flat, B. There you go. In this next version of the blues in G, you've got the same right hand solo, but we're going to do something different with the left hand. Thirds and sevenths. Get your pencil and write in the chord tones. I did the first measure for you, third and seventh, seventh on the bottom, third on top. They flip. How about that? So now it goes 3, 7, back to 7, 3, etc. Make sure you understand the chord construction. These are really great ways of expressing the chords. You'll hear jazz pianists do this all the time, just with 2 notes. And I think a bit of a coordination challenge. So in many places, the left hand is responding to the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, in the last 3 measures, it's like the hands start working together. A 1, 2, 3, 4. The next blues solo in G, you've got a new line to read in your right hand. But you have the same chords in the left hand. Different rhythms, though. I'm sure you can put it together. Start by reviewing the chord shapes and reading the chord symbols. Yep. You'll know. You'll know the sound. Okay, well, let's start with the right hand. That's the same position we were in for our previous solo. Very good. And in measure 4, we're up here again. In measure 5, and then we quickly shift back to this position. And then back. And let's see, measure 9. I go 5 to 2. And then you're in a similar place as you were at the beginning. I like 3 to 4 on that grace note. Okay, the rhythm. Whew. 4, 1. So we can kind of sing a composite version of this, I think. Dee da dee da do do be da bo do do dee be da bo do be da dee do dee dee da boom bo da do da do da 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 bo do be da 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 do da dee dee da dee da Boodle dee dee boodoo da dee 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 da boodoo be dee doo da dee be dee boodoo be dee dee doo be dee da bo dee 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 da boodoo be dee bo da doo 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 dee dee da dee da. That way of singing the composite of both parts is extremely useful. That means you're really feeling every moment in a united way. Beat ba bo do beat it boo bo beat beat it do beat it da do beat it dong. Do da do da do da 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 bo do be do da do 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 dee dee da dee da bo da dee dee do da dee dee dee. Oh, I was hesitant in measure 8. Well, let's see if I can just play this without hesitation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, my singing was not a trained singer. I went flat, didn't I? Okay. Bringing the pitch up. That's it. I think we could probably do this singing on the solo we just worked on. Let's revisit that. So let's do singing and clapping. Dot, bo do be da bo dot, bo do be da bo do be da dee 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 da. Do dot, bo do be da da. Bo do be da do be da dee 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 da. Do dee do do be do be do dee. Bo de do do dee do 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 do. Now maybe there's a way to sing both parts. Get my pitch back up. Da ba doo be dat and da ba doo be dat and bo be dat and dee 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 da bo da ba doo be dat and da ba doo be dat and do be dat and dee 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 da da be doo doo be doo dee doo doo dee bo da da doo dee. In the last measure I have to bring in the clapping. What I like about all of this is you get animated. You think about how you would want to dance to this. If you can think about that and imagine that and experience it, then you can put that in how you play it. This is dance music, folks. It needs to groove. No one's going to want to listen to it if it's not grooving. And you just, the more you groove it, the more you want to play it. And next is harmonization. In this particular assignment, I've prescribed the way to play each of these chords, where the third and seventh should be. I've also labeled the lead note with a number. As you'll see, for the first chord, the melody note or lead note is G, so I just tell you that's the fifth of a C minor 7. What you need to do is write out each of these chords. If you look at the B7 sharp 5, you've got the sharp 5 in the melody. Remember, there are these inconsistencies in jazz chord symbol notation. That's the sharp 5 G. You might say, well, why don't you call it the flat 13? Most people will call it a sharp 5. Your next note would be D sharp. Below that, and the seventh is A. And notice I've put, the chord tones near where the notes will be. So don't get too far from where those notes are indicated. So from the bottom up, it's B, A, D sharp, G. The next one, well, we're going to add the third below. And then it's A flat and B flat. So it's more of the same. We're using the pencil to slow you down. And all of this will help you understand chord symbols better and get you on the path of reading chord symbols. Also, there's the playing of this and the hearing of it. Let me play it for you. Maybe end on the first chord. Use all those good chord practice techniques and then put good pedaling to it. Get it sounding good. Okay, we're going to return to the samba comping. You remember the partito alto. Da 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 da. You have all of the coordination in place. Review it by practicing just the first measure. Beware, I've put your right hand in the bass clef. And because of that, I'm going to suggest that you slide over and align, get centered on this A flat below middle C. That'll keep your arms from getting tired. Let's look at the first two measures. So build a vamp on that. I'm going to kind of move this way. It should feel looser again if you're along that arc. And there's some variations in the rhythm at the end. We'll talk about that in a moment. So the big challenge here, I think, is just getting from one chord to the next. So just chord practice. Try to move through them as quickly as you can. And you use the repetition to reinforce the shape of it. The good news is that's most of the chords in the tune right there in the first 8 bars. Let's look at the middle section starting in measure 9. And move through it quickly. And the last 8. The last 2 bars. Okay. Let's see where the rhythm changes in the last 4. Actually, it's the same, isn't it? But you have more chords to attend to. Okay. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's almost as happy as my dog. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other Parchito alto. Take a moment to switch gears. It's going to be disorienting for a moment. Ba da 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 ba 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 da 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 da. Well, if you've worked through all of the chords, there they are. Remember that some of the chords will be anticipated in this version of the Parchito alto. So let's look at the last 4 measures. I think this is the version where there's a variance. Let's look at the last 4. Okay. There we go. Both of these Parchito altos can be, they work at medium tempos, they work at slow tempos. Parchito alto number 2. Magnificent, but they can also go quick. When you play them quick, lighten everything up and make sure to stay orbital here, not up and down. That'll, at some point you'll hit the brakes. You'll hit a wall, everything will just lock up. Maybe I'm using a little more wrist too. Did I flip it? I think I did. Parchito alto number 1. It's easy to get them confused. Did I get them confused here? Well, maybe take it back and check on me. Easy to do. Fun stuff, happy music, and it's all about informing your groove. Getting your dance happening and being able to convey that through the piano. It's a blast.